What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan. Thanks so much for watching. I am your nootropics information divulger. Gotta get so much data, and I'm here to share a lot of it. New stack that I came up with. Very, very simple stack. Works incredibly well for verbal fluency. Like you wouldn't think it would. Works for motivation too. I'll get to it in a sec. In the meantime, 4 nootropic and biohacking products support every shred of information we put out. Here they are. Elite level nootropic products. Okay, number 1, we've got a stack. It is called Cortex. It's a nootropic stack. We built it for entrepreneurs initially. It was like, we wanted to build a stack that you take and you notice, and it gets you to want to work. You're just like, man, I'm productive, my brain feels good, I'm verbally fluent, I'm motivated. But anybody could use Cortex, because like, if anyone wants any of those things, buy a bottle of Cortex. We just ran a special where it was buy one, get one free. That special is now over. But if you use the coupon code 5, you can get a bottle of Cortex for 28 bucks. That's awesome. Think about it. 28 bucks and you're done, and you get a bottle of what's being called the only pre-made nootropic stack that actually works. Get that at livecortex.com. Use the coupon code FIVE. If you need my help personally, we have a consulting service on nootropics. Basically, we just help people figure out stacks that turn their brain on for whatever thing. Even if they have brain fog, we figure that out and handle it. If you're new to nootropics, you have to read Smarter, Better, Faster. That's the book we wrote on it. It's digital. You got to start there, and you got to read it, at least 5 times to get everything. And if you have gut-related issues like SIBO, GERD, or LPR, we've got a consulting service for that. Basically, we can help you to fix it. Okay, so I've been experimenting just with trying to combine new things. I'm kind of always trying to find new stacks. There's so many stacks. We wrote 5 nootropics books that have some of the best stacks in the world in them. You can buy them at livecortex.com. Take the stacks, and brain turns on. It's awesome. It's taken me a long time to figure out. But I'm always looking for new stuff, right? I mean, I think that's important to kind of constantly evolve your stuff, knowing new stacks to take to reach particular outcomes. And so also you can cycle off of like stuff you might take every day. You don't want to build tolerance. You don't want to be taking the same stack every day. It's just something you don't want to do. So a very simple combination that I found that actually works really, really well for kind of turning everything on, motivation, but really verbal fluency. Just like some of the most, I mean, this is one of the most powerful verbal fluency stacks there is, besides Cortex, besides Acorus Calamus by itself in 300 milligrams, besides like oxiracetam and coliracetam together. Those are some good verbal fluency stacks. But this stack is right up there with them and might even be a little better, okay? The doses are, the compounds are simply L-Dopa and Yohimbine together, stacked together, nothing else, right? Very simple stack. My dose on it is 10 milligrams Yohimbine, 200 milligrams L-Dopa, okay? So I'm not entirely sure what I think's happening here. I'll try to get to the mechanisms in a second, but let me just explain the effects. For me, it's about 30 minutes later where the connections in the brain that have to do with verbal fluency, it's got to be regions and it's got to be neurotransmitter quantity, but regions, you got to think of the brain anatomically and what might be going on, what parts of the brain, if they're facilitated in terms of performance, would equal verbal fluency, right? We know that there's certain regions of the brain that we engage to do certain tasks. And I think that this engages the verbal fluency, the ability to synthesize what's in your head into words and not have pauses, ands, and ums. Mechanistically speaking, I mean, Yohimbine is essentially a vasodilator, so it promotes blood flow, not only in the brain, but kind of everywhere in the body. It's kind of really good for that. It also cranks up epinephrine and norepinephrine, and these are alertness-based neurotransmitters. But L-Dopa works to build epinephrine and norepinephrine, but it also is a precursor to dopamine. So you've got 2 compounds that turn up epinephrine and norepinephrine, and you've got 1 compound that turns up dopamine. And so I guess the combination of sort of like a double attack on epinephrine and norepinephrine, as well as something that very strongly synthesizes into dopamine, turns on verbal fluency. Awesome. And I haven't tried this on a whole lot of people, but it works really good on me and like 5 other people that I've tested it on. They're like, hey, I need to give speeches. I'm like, you know what, try this stack because I've been taking it and it really freaking works. Okay, so yeah, 10 milligrams Yohimbine, 100 to 200 milligrams roughly of L-Dopa. And you tell me if you're not super verbally fluent, the brain is not completely turned on and you're like motivated to do work. It's an awesome stack and it's simple. That's what I like doing on this broadcast. I mean, it's like every day, every other day, like as much as I can, I'm experimenting with new stuff, trying to find out what really works for people, trying to identify how to fix brain fog in certain situations, trying to do specific things. I mean, there's stacks you can take that'll just be verbal fluency, stacks you can take that are just for motivation, stacks you can take that are just for focus, and there's stacks you can take for all of it. And I have come to learn that Yohimbine and L-Dopa together in those quantities is pretty fucking awesome for verbal fluency. So try it if you need it. I hope you get some results out of it. I hope this has been helpful. Ryan at livecortex.com if you have any questions, you want me to talk about it on the air. Okay, right now, again, remember the Cortex Stack, $28. That's our strong nootropic stack. Really awesome verbal fluency, motivation, focus, mental energy stack. Just use the coupon code 5 FIVE at livecortex.com and you can get a bottle of what's being called the only pre-made stack that works, a stack used by professional poker players to kick ass and dominate in poker for $28. Cortex Stack is awesome. You're going to love it. Look, if you need my help on anything related to nootropics or brain fog or helping you figure out stacks, buy the consulting service. Get that at livecortex.com. It's just a 40-minute call with me. We just zero in the best stuff that works for you. If you are new to nootropics, a year, 2 years in, 2 months in, 6 months in, that whole time frame, you got to read Smarter, Better, Faster. It's the best book on the web, really on the planet, the most informative on nootropics, teaches you everything. And it's digital, so you can like download it right away, start reading it on your iPhone or wherever. Get that at livecortex.com. And if you've got gut-related issues, we have a consulting service for that too. Particularly, we can help you to get rid of SIBO, LPR, and GERD. Like you don't want to be taking proton pump inhibitors for the rest of your life. You can actually target the problem, which is an overgrowth of methanogens inside the small intestine, which produce methane and then push stomach contents up and give you freaking reflux. We got a consulting service on that. Get it at livecortex.com. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Talk to you next time.